Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Shantika here once again, and I am here to discuss the Paula Dean drama. I know it's just like crazy. I first heard about the situation that she was going through on the news, and then once I logged onto YouTube, it's like every other person has something to say, and so I had something to say because I was kind of irritated with a lot of um, what African American people are saying in response to this situation. Now, am I pissed off about Paula Dean? No, I'm not pissed off about Paula Dean. Am I offended? No, because nobody was talking to me. Now, is what do I feel what she did was wrong? Yes, I feel what she did was wrong. But considering what she is and who she is and her background as far as where she comes from is not surprising. I don't condone anybody degrading, belittling, or insulting anyone in any way, shape, or form, whether it's racially, whether you're cursing them out, raising your voice. I just don't agree with anybody speaking to anybody in that way, shape, or form. Now, when it comes to racial slurs, when you think about it, I'm not really hugely surprised that she's in so much hot water behind this issue, because going back, I guess, to my childhood specifically, you know, I have encountered where black people have been more racist. I won't say that they're racist, but I would say they have used racial slurs to insult me or others around me as a kid. You know, I grew up in, black culture, I guess in the 80s, I pretty much grew up in the 90s. I'm a 90s child. That's what I remember. I don't remember nothing from the 80s, you know. But as a child growing up, as far as my interactions with white folks, we did on a couple of occasions move to a predominantly white area, and the reaction towards us wasn't blatant. There was no blatant racism. There was a standoffish kind of, and there was like a weird curiosity, like we've never, been around black people before, and it was kind of like odd, but there wasn't, like, nobody treated us badly, let's just say that. Now, once I started going to school, for those of my 90s babies, they would do, like, kids on the schoolyard or in the class or whatever, they would do something called ranking. Now, my parents say they call it the dozens, but in my generation, they call it ranking. And ranking pretty much is it's just talking about a person. You just go back and forth. Oh, your mama's so fat, she sit on a rainbow and Skittles popped out. Oh, you so black, you bleed motor oil. Stuff like that. Is that person racist by saying that? No, they're not racist. They just going back and forth. Now, in society, if you do that in public, people be like, oh, you're racist, you wrong for that. That's just the era that I grew up. People constantly talking about skin color. In the black community, if you guys want to be honest, light skin is the right skin. That's how it was. Light skinned people, depending on where you were at or whatever, got treated better, or light skinned girls were more favored, or whatever the case may be. Light skinned boys were like deemed the most fine. If you were dark skinned or super dark, or what we call blue black, like really, really dark skin, you were picked on. I won't say discriminated against, but I would say you were picked on and ostracized because of your skin color. And that's in the black community. And so it kind of irritates me that black people are getting on here, talking all this crap about, oh, she's a racist and she's from Southern or whatever. Black people do the same crap. All you gotta do is listen to Cat Williams, any celebrity comedian, go back into their early work when they have performed in the 80s and in the 90s, Def Comedy Jam and all that. You'll hear a bunch of niggas, my niggas, nigga this, nigga that, you black, you this and that. You will hear a ton of it. Is it right? Hell no, it's wrong. But what I don't like is just the hypocriticism. I know it's probably not a word, But it's just ridiculous. Everybody jumping on this lady, and most black people that I know, I can't speak for people that I don't know, but from what I have encountered in my 31 years on this earth, I've heard a lot of negative and nasty racial slurs, what is deemed as racial slurs in the black community as well. Nobody, I'm not condoning none of it. Now, have I participated in that stuff when I was a kid? Yeah, because you didn't know no better. You just going back and forth, and you pick something when you're ranking on a person, or you trying to insult them, and y'all going back and forth, not in a hateful way, but just going back and forth. You're not doing it as like, it's not deemed a racial slur. You just a kid just ranking. I'm gonna rank you. You ain't gonna talk about me, so I'm gonna look at something on you and I'm gonna talk about you. If you black as tar, I'm gonna talk about that. If you bald headed, if you got naps, I'll talk about that. Now, in this new generation, it's like, especially where I live in Florida, okay, in the Miami area, which is heavily populated with black people, Haitian people, and Spanish people, Hispanic people. And I see it all the time. I never forget, I was in Publix one day, and these two Hispanic boys were just going back and forth, like, and I don't even think they were doing it. They weren't doing it out of race, because they were calling themselves that, and speaking of their friends or whatever, oh, my nigga this, yeah, my nigga this and that, oh, yeah, my nigga, because it's a part of pop culture. And so they speak that way because they think it makes them look cool, you know. And with the rap and all that other stuff like that, it's rappers listen to some of the lyrics, nigga this, nigga that, you know, all that. And so that's where they get it from. In pop culture, that's where they get it from. And so for people to jump on Paula Dean and condemn her when they do it themselves, it just irks my nerves. It really irks my nerves. It's like, stop lying, stop being, you know, a hypocrite. Now, if you don't want to admit that you've ever said it, okay, that's fine. Most people don't want to admit it because they don't want the backlash of consequences. But as a kid, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and say that I've never called somebody nigga. I was called nigga. It was not nigger, it was nigga. Regardless of how you say it, it's still wrong. You understand what I'm saying? But if you consider the history of people and how they were raised, when you have been raised and you have grown up saying stuff like that, it's like second nature. And let's just be honest, when we are in our perspective races, you know, when we're surrounded by our own people, let me just put it on out there, we tend to say and do things that we won't normally say and do when we're in mixed company, because we don't want to offend anybody. You know, when white folks are with white folks, they may make their racial jokes and say things about other different races, but then when they get around people, they turn that switch and be like, look, I can't act that way. It's a time and a place for everything, you know. What you can say amongst your peers, amongst other people that don't mind it, you know, because there are some white folks who don't want to hear about that type of stuff and who won't tolerate that. But people know who to show out or show off in front of. And so I feel like Paula Dean is part of that generation where belittling somebody in that way, calling somebody a nigger or whatever, was second nature. Nobody said anything about it, and even nobody even cared. But as a person of intelligence, as the times grow, as the times change, you have to change your way of thinking. You have to increase your vocabulary. You have to understand that you are this world is not black and white. It's black, white, Spanish, Haitian, Indian, Chinese, Japanese. There's a whole world that is mixed of a lot of groups of people, and you cannot walk around saying those type of things. Now, you may feel that way in your heart. You may feel in your heart that there's nothing wrong with saying this and that and the next. It may be even funny. But when it comes to being in mixed company and interacting with other people, you have to be very, very careful, especially if you are in a public figure position or you're a celebrity position. You have to be careful of what you say, because not only do grown-ups admire you, children do as well, you know. And you don't want to give out a negative, you don't want to give out that kind of way of thinking. Even if you think that there's nothing wrong with it, you still have to conform to how society is nowadays. And nowadays, people not gonna tolerate you talking craziness. Now, on the flip side, it shouldn't. If Paula Dean can't say it, then nobody can say it. And I'm talking about Tyler Perry, and I love Tyler Perry, but he does talk about racial. They made racial jokes in his comedy and in his, plays and stuff like that. You'll hear, "Oh, you so black, you so this, you look like a monkey," and this and that and the next like that. Now, if a white person said that, "Oh shit, you racist," you know what I'm saying? We do it in the black community without realizing, that if a white person said that, you will be pissed. You laughing now because Cat Williams said it. You laughing now because Martin said it, or Eddie Murphy said it. All these other celebrities, because they black. You cool with it. But when a white person says, "Oh, you black as tar," "Oh shit, you racist." Come on, man. It can't be different strokes for different folks. The rules apply. Just like it applies to her, it applies to y'all as well. Let me see if I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Yeah. So, should they be making a huge deal about it? They should give this woman a chance to apologize. That's what life is. Apologize and move on. Now, if you feel, because granted, she's in the public eye, she has a lot of endorsements and stuff like that. And a lot of companies now, when they sign you up for stuff, they have a more morality clauses where you have to be mindful of your actions. And if you violate that, you may lose that endorsement. Now, of course, when you do anything wrong, regardless of how much you apologize, there are consequences that come along with the apology. You have to pay for your mistakes. And unfortunately, in her case, she is losing millions of dollars, and a lot of respect from a lot of people. But, I just wanted to come on here and just balance this whole thing out, because everybody's just jumping on her and jumping on white folks and stuff like that. Black people are just as to blame as Paula Dean. Is it okay for a person to call somebody a nigger? No. Is it okay for a person to refer to another individual as a bitch, hoe this? All of these negative terms are used widely, and even in, just like I was saying in one of my other videos, that you hear on shows, white cultures, where white girls will call another person ghetto as an insult, because being ghetto is automatically associated with being black or African American. They call each other ghetto as an insult. They call each other nappy head. And that was just so strange to me, that a white person would be like, "You nappy head," and I'm just like, whoa, you only call a person that if they are that, but that's just how the way of the world. It's all wrong. Nothing of it is right. I don't condone none of it. You know what I'm saying? So I just think we just all need to look within ourselves and say, because nobody wants to be, accused of being a racist. Nobody wants to be, deemed a bigot or whatever the, thing is. But when you're in a position, you have to be mindful of your actions. What is cool amongst yourselves, and you really should curtail that, because a lot of times people are so used to being themselves, they kind of don't know when to turn it off. And I think that's what got Miss Paula Dean in trouble. She's so used to speaking a certain way because it was second nature. It's a part of her vocabulary. She went overboard, And of course, when a person gets upset, the first thing they do is they go for the jugular. You know what I'm saying? Either your skin color, your physical appearance, or whatever. Whatever they think will hurt your feelings, they go for the jugular. And she's being accused of being racist against her employees and being discriminatory against her employees, and you just can't do that. She has apologized. In my opinion, some people feel like her apology wasn't sincere enough. That's just your opinion. I don't know what a person can do to be sincere, but I feel like she's sorry that it's causing so much problems. In my opinion, I don't really feel like she's like super like, oh wow, I'm so sorry, I wasn't raised that way and blah 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 blah. I just feel like if this whole drama hasn't taken a life of its own, she probably wouldn't have been so apologetic. And that's just being honest. You know what I'm saying? But since she's losing so much, it's like damage control, damage control, damage control. I gotta put these videos, I gotta say sorry. You know what I mean? But with that apology comes consequences, and she's suffering those consequences. And so, how do y'all feel about the situation? And let's just be completely honest. If you want to be honest, white folks as well, any other type of folks, green, yellow, Haitian, Japanese, Indian, English, whatever. If you want to be honest and see what I'm saying is the truth, just go back. Let me see what's still recording. Yeah. Go back and look at all these popular comedians, black comedians especially. Black people, stop being hypocrite. If you don't want to be called a certain thing, then you should try within your own self and your own community to eradicate that type of talking. Myself included. You know what I'm saying? I don't use it because I'm an adult and I know better. You know what I'm saying? But when I was a kid, that's what we just did. That's how we spoke. Was it like an everyday type thing? No. Just when we, out of the clear blue, man, please. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And if you grew up the way that I grew up, you will admit to it. Nobody wants to admit to it because, oh, I'm not a racist and I've never used the N-word. Stop. You have. Now, have you used it to hurt somebody's feelings or belittle somebody? No. But regardless of how you use it, just like calling somebody a bitch, regardless, it's still a derogatory term. Nigger, nigga, my nigga, nigga this, nigga that. It's wrong. You should not use it because the history behind the word is so deep-seatedly just horrid. Really, really, really horrible. Nobody should use that language. Now, hopefully, Paula Dean, and her staff will learn from this experience, and with a lot of work, which is going to be a lot of work, maybe she can get some of her stuff, her endorsements back. I doubt it very much because nowadays they're not playing. Companies are not playing. They have an image to protect, and you can't go around speaking that way or acting like that, and expect people to support your brand, But that's all I have to say about the issue. I just had to balance it out because it was so one-sided, and I can't stand people who comment and they're just so one-sided on a situation and they don't consider that, do all black people use the N-word? No, they don't. And number two, you don't know all black people to even sit up here and defend a whole race of people because you don't know. I don't know all black people. All I can tell you is who I grew up, how I grew up. When comedians do it, when comedians say it, nobody has a problem with it. But as soon as a white person says it, it's a problem. It's like we all need to get a reality check. We all need to check our own selves before we start bashing other people. Is Paula Dean wrong? Yeah, she wrong. But Martin wrong, Cat Williams is wrong, Tyler Perry wrong, all of them wrong for doing it. And I think if we all collectively, back away from that kind of comedy and that kind of way of talking, eventually it will eradicate itself. And this is really, really interesting, because this will put this whole situation blowing up the way that it has will put people in check and be like, look, you're in the public eye, you are a popular figure, whatever. You need to be mindful of what comes out of your mouth. If you don't, you're gonna lose a whole bunch of money, and that's just what it boils down to. Nobody is sorry, and nobody is really punished until you target that pocket. When they start losing money and losing business, then people will start changing their behavior. Can you change what's in a person's heart? Only God can do that. Only God can change what's in a person's heart. So with that being said, I will see you guys next time. My next TTC vlog, which will be tomorrow. And I'll talk to y'all later. If you have any questions, comments, or you just want to give your 2 cents about what I just said, like I said before, be respectful. Go right ahead. Speak. Peace out, y'all. Bye.